tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
It was at this moment that she knew. She f***ed up.
I'm not gonna lie. 60 Minutes actually gave her a real interview. And of course she failed. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. You better get your yard sign. We probably sold out already. Go check on the website right now if you want a yard sign. A Trump Vance yard sign that's hip and cool. It's not like the traditional, I'm voting for Trump and Trump and Vance and all that. Now, get you a swaggy one. And we got it for you. Check out some of our Halloween stuff too. We got it on the website. Link will be here in the description section. Discount code will pop up here. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this. Okay. Kamala Harris goes on to 60 Minutes with Bill Whitaker. Yeah, it's funny that the name Bill Whitaker sounds like a guy who's about his business. Okay. She gets on there, and clearly they didn't give her questions beforehand because she clearly fails. She gives a word salad, the same that she give on every other freaking podcast or interview that she's ever done. And I don't know how people are watching 60 Minutes and listening to Kamala Harris and come out thinking that she is the best person for the job. She gets all flustered when the guy's just asking her questions or follow-up questions because he knows she lying the whole time. But let's roll the film so you don't believe me. Listen to the interview.
Is democracy best served by President Biden stepping down and basically handing you a nomination? You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
President Biden made a decision that I think history is going to show is rare among leaders, which was to put country before self. And I am proud to have earned the support of the vast majority of delegates and to have been elected the Democratic nominee to fight in this election over the next month for our democracy.
But I think this truncated process is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
You want to expand...
Let's stop there before we go on to the next point. Clearly, there's a lot of cuts and edits to this on 60 Minutes side, because I heard another clip where he pressed her on that point, and she even admitted that this never happened in history. And this is, to me, a threat to democracy. When you can say, I'm going to unilaterally select the person that you now have only a choice to vote for, is insane to me. Joe Biden has been senile and unprepared to be the president, and they knew it for a very long time. They threw him out there in the debate so that they can oust him, and people were kind of numb to it because he performed so poorly. And I think it's wrong to do that because people deserve to have competition. Joe Biden should have been primaried. They knew he wasn't up to the task. And if he wasn't primaried, if he decides to drop out of the race, they should have some competition there. But the party, not the people, made a strategic decision to say, we know what's best for you. You don't get to choose. You don't get to have another black woman compete with Kamala Harris. You got to pick that black woman with her lack of education, or at least wisdom, her lack of resume. You have to pick that black woman. Maybe, just maybe, people wanted another option. Maybe people didn't want a woman, they wanted a man. Maybe they wanted another black man. But the Democrat Party decided for you, and you didn't have a say in it. That's not democracy. Roll the clip.
The child tax credit.
Yes, I do.
You want to give tax breaks to first-time home buyers.
Yes.
And people starting small businesses.
Correct.
But it is estimated by the Nonpartisan Committee for Responsible Federal Budget that your economic plan would add $3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. How are you going to pay for that?
Okay, so the other economists that have reviewed my plan versus my opponent and determined that my economic plan would strengthen America's economy, his would weaken it.
But
My plan, Bill, if you don't mind, my plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses, you invest in the middle class and you strengthen America's economy. Small businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
you recently visited the
So she don't have a way to pay for it. She can say what she want to say about Donald Trump and that his economic policy will cause whatever, but yours will. So the American people, if you're selected, is going to have a deficit. How do you pay for this without going in deeper and deeper and deeper into debt? She's not going to give first-time home buyers anything. She's going to have to pass this stuff through Congress. And if she want to do it on a federal level, and she want to do it through executive power, that's not sustainable. That's not going to continue on. People are going to get an opportunity to do this for 4 years and then it's over when the next president get in. And I don't even know if she can do it through the executive branch alone. She's not going to do it. They make promises that they can't keep. $25,000 to every new home buyer. They're just going to inflate the price of the houses. Because the market just got $25,000 of free money from people. So what are they going to do? They're going to raise the price of the house. Because they know you got the extra $25,000 to put in the house. That's where things get wonky at. That's why the market has to naturally, like almost like an organism, work through kinks and work itself out. When you start inputting false dollars into an economy, I think it inflates the economy. I'm not an economist. I could be 100% wrong. Just common sense tells me. Just like saying we're going to give black people reparations. Oh, my God. That's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth that we've ever seen in our lifetime. Essentially, the government is giving big businesses money, proxy through black people. Black people, generally speaking, are consumerist. They function in their practice and perfection in consumerism. If you give a ton of uneducated, I would say financially illiterate black people, I don't know, $500,000 each, $100,000 each. If you're not giving them $100,000, you ain't doing them nothing. To be quite honest, you cannot become wealthy, especially if you don't have some structure set up and you're not really good with money. You don't understand how to build money. You're not going to be wealthy with $100,000. Then you give every black descendant of slave $100,000 in their bank. Most of them, most human beings will blow that money. People win the lottery. I think like 90% of them go bankrupt. NFL, I don't know, 80%, 90% of them, 80% of them go bankrupt. That's because you can't just give people money and think that solves the issue. I'm just gonna give you a tax credit. I'm gonna give you a child tax credit. We're gonna give $25,000 we're gonna give money to business owners. People gonna be gaming the system like they did with them stimmy checks. Oh, I'm gonna start a little business real quick and I'm gonna get this money and then I'm gonna close my business down in a year or two. Like, do you owe the money back? All this stuff is things that these politicians should be explaining so the people can see what they're really thinking through, or if they're thinking through it. Roll the clip.
southern border and embraced President Biden's recent crackdown on asylum seekers. And that crackdown produced an almost immediate and dramatic decrease in the number of border crossings. If that's the right answer now, why didn't your administration take those steps in 2021?
The first bill we proposed to Congress was to fix our broken immigration system, knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act. It was not taken up. Fast forward to a moment when a bipartisan group of members of the United States Senate, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, got together, came up with a border security bill. Well, guess what happened? Donald Trump got word that this bill was afoot and could be passed, and he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
I don't understand how they know Donald Trump did that for sure. To me, it sounds like a rumor. It sounds like a rumor. I can't find politicians saying we can't fix this problem for the American people because we need Donald Trump to potentially win the election. I can't imagine it being a widespread thing that Republicans get lockstep with. I wouldn't do it. I don't care nothing about Donald Trump's personal issues. If my constituents need me to respond in a positive way to legislation that will better benefit the area that they live in, that they hired me to represent, elected me to represent, I'm going to do the bidding of the people. Because I wouldn't forego legislation that helps cut down border crossings and then he don't become president. So I don't think that that's a widespread reality. I think it's a lie they keep telling, like Project 2025. They just making this stuff up. I don't think Donald Trump did that. He could have, but I don't think he did it.
So he told his buddies in Congress, kill the bill, don't let it move forward.
But
Let me. He's going to finish, but let me say something real quick about the bill thing. The reason why Republicans would not pass that bill because they had additional funding for Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan and all this stuff that we can't keep spending money like this, and it's not legitimate. If they produced a bill and they can articulate clearly that they produced a bill that simply addressed illegal immigration in the border of the United States of America, exclusively the southern border. I'm sure we care about our northern border too, but more exclusively the southern border. Then, and Republicans did not have a problem. But they put a bunch of baggage in there that they know is baggage, that they know any Republican couldn't live with, and that they know would ruin the economy or do something, because they don't do the bill or introduce the bill for it to get passed. They introduce the bill for you to be on the side of the bill so they can use that as a political talking point. Anyway.
been covering the border for years. And so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers
under your
today,
watch.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by.
Let me finish this sentence. Should you have done that 3 years ago? She should lose the election on this very point. All this stuff has been drastically happening in our country. You wait till the last minute to take executive order. And you know you released a lot of Donald Trump's policies in the first place. And y'all historically said the wall was a waste of time and all that. Come on.
I have, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
I'll tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for. And I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States, and I have been traveling our country, and I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people. geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values,
Abortion.
to find common sense solutions. And that has been my approach.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
All right. That's just a few things. Y'all could probably watch the full thing on 60 Minutes, but, you know, she's terrible. She has no solutions for the American people. She's uninspiring. She can't stand in front of Putin or some of these big world leaders and actually make a tangible difference. She's a whiny weirdo that talks out with her nose stopped up every day. And she has no chance of being a true commander-in-chief. She's already shown us that, and I hope that y'all wake up to it. See you on the next one. I'm out.